All right, and joining us now, our political analyst, New York Post state editor, Fred Dicker. Fred, what did you hear today that was noteworthy from the governor?
Well, I think we know what one of his major themes in 2015 will be, including in his State of the State address. He's trying to diffuse a very serious and dangerous situation in New York City, serious on all kinds of sides, and it's politically dangerous for the governor and for the mayor, who he's now strongly supporting. I think governor's being prudent, but I would say to appoint a task force to look into concerns brings up plenty of other task forces we've seen in the past that in the end really don't amount to very much. So the governor here really kind of reiterated what he said after the Eric Garner finding came down when the grand jury didn't indict a police officer, that he wants to look at this, going to try to satisfy all sides. Bottom line, Liz, is that all sides cannot be satisfied. You have very bitter differences down in New York City, and the governor's trying to navigate those.
Yeah, navigate those, and there are a lot of issues that'll come up in those waters that he's stirring up here. Among them, political issues for himself. It's going to be very hard to really satisfy everybody, as you say, and he's going to make friends and he's going to make enemies, I would think, along the way as well.
I'll tell you, in the back of his mind, Liz, is probably 1993 when his father, Governor Mario Cuomo, tried to intervene after the Crown Heights riots in New York City. He appointed a top aide to investigate and report on what happened, and the report wound up blowing up Mayor David Dinkins in New York City, and many supporters of David Dinkins blamed Mario Cuomo for having sunk Dinkins in his election battle with Rudy Giuliani in that year. So the governor has to be very careful. I think in the end, it may very well be that nobody will wind up being satisfied, because to satisfy one side or another is likely to alienate a great number of people.
And task forces take time, so you just go further down a road where more things can happen while you're waiting for this task force to come up with some kind of a conclusion.
Well, that's the point of it, to delay, to try to hope things will calm down. Look, the answer, the premise that there are some simple answers here to address problems, killing of cops or the Eric Garner situation, I think is a false premise. None of these lend themselves to easy solutions, assuming any kind of solutions even exist. I mean, a lot of times in life and in New York City, it's just terrible accidents that occur. Killing of Eric Garner, the shooting of these two cops. So it's not an accident, that's a calculation, but that was an isolated act, it appears. The idea that the governor or anybody else can come up with anything to solve these kinds of problems, I think may be fallacious. And
just very quickly, has there been any public reaction or maybe comment at the Capitol on the idea of giving this period of calm until the funerals are over with?
Well, I think overwhelmingly it's being supported. The police unions in the city have supported it, the elected officials. Some of the radical demonstrators haven't, but it's unclear how many people they actually represent.
All right, Fred, thank you so much. And I know this is something, and we've been looking at some of the video from those terrible days as they played out, and then we're going to remind you as you look at it that you can hear Fred's radio program. It's live from the state capitol weekday mornings 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM.